So this morning I spoke to Joe Couch. He's got a flow that he picked up off a friend of his who's retired, and he wanted to ask, can he upgrade, can he get a higher flow rate out of it? And we have an upgrade kit for flow to flow red, if you're really good with your hands, because there's a lot of changes. The 17 parts come out, and all the tube is changed, and all the tubing is changed, and all that. So there's a chance for you to upgrade a flow to a flow red for around $300 plus new membranes if it's needed.
And then the flow rate would be more intense?
Yeah, you'll get at least half a gallon a minute more flow rate from a flow red. So that came about when we switched to radial from constructor brush. We increased the flow rate out of the brush, so then we had to work backwards. That's when we got to high flow, because we needed a higher flow rate to the brush, and then we go back to the filter and say we need a higher flow rate through the filter in order to support the brush. So, flow red is designed for radial, and there are some other filters that are on the market that may be designed for the brushes which they sell, which might be a lower flow rate. So, but there's no doubt the more water you use, the faster you can clean, as long as you increase your efficiency by changing your technique. But we also talked with Joe about what might be also influencing his flow rate is the temperature of the water, because as we go into winter, the colder water gets, the more viscous it gets, the more dense the water is, and therefore the lower the performance of pure water out of an RO membrane. All RO membranes are affected very much by temperature. So from 75 degrees Fahrenheit or 79 in 25 degrees Celsius, that's kind of like the prime temperature. Maybe you can go warmer and hotter again to get more water through the membrane, but that's kind of like ambient, normal ambient temperature. But if you go down to 4 degrees Celsius or 39 degrees Fahrenheit, then the performance of a reverse osmosis membrane is half. So as you go into winter, remembering that the water doesn't go through the air to get to your filter, it goes under the ground. So it's actually the ground temperature which is determining the temperature of the water that you're using. So it doesn't go down going into winter as much as when you come out of winter and you go into spring. And a lot of guys over the years have said, my RO doesn't work, and then sometimes they get sold new RO membranes because they don't know. But actually 95% of the time they haven't fouled, they don't need a clean, they are just dealing with cold water, and therefore the performance can be half. So people in cold water areas usually need to add a pump to overcome the effect of the viscosity of the water. And likewise, Joe's from Indiana. So I was talking with him also about adding a pump so that he's got the ability, even after winter, he's still got the ability to overcome this effect. And I said to him also, he's actually a pressure washer doing window cleaning. So I said that if you want the maximum performance from an RO membrane system, then you would actually put the water out of the flow red into a tank, and then you'd have a dedicated 12-volt delivery pump, 1.7, 1.8 gallons per minute, 7 or so liters per minute. And you have that kind of tank. So now you've got whatever pressure you've put on one side of the membrane, you've got zero pressure or zero back pressure on the other side of the membrane. And so you'll get the maximum flow rate into a tank, and then that little pump deals with the back pressure, the wall friction from the tube, the head of gravity, from gravity. And we've got a Reach It workshop on that topic, okay? So and also the higher the pressure differential, the more effective the filtration. So for example, at 50, 60 psi, your RO membrane may be just taking out 90%, but at 100 psi, it might be taking out 95%, like that. So the more pressure differential you have across the membrane, the more effective the filtration of the membrane.